Hi, I'm Non, and today I'm making a video about my OC suwa. I'm scared. I'm not good at talking. I've never been good at talking. I say this in like every single one of my videos, and yet I never make a script because scripts suck and they're difficult, and I don't want to spend all that time, okay? I just want to get the video out, and I feel like, if I make a script, I'm just like not gonna make the video. So anyway, yeah, today I wanted to talk about my OC, Suwa. He's baby, he's best boy, he's, my little purse dog. So I found out this weekend, that I really like doing sketch pages. I did like 2 of them before this that I probably can't show on YouTube because they're like a little bit sensitive. Not like, straight up out of SW, but still. Anyway, so here I was just doing another sketch page and just like having fun, sitting down, cranking them out. I realized I really like doing them because like I can get a bunch of my ideas out instead of like, spending the same amount of time to fully finish one drawing. So it's nice when you just have like a lot of ideas and you just want to doodle. And I don't know why I stopped sketching for so long, but I did, and so return of that. Anyway, yeah, so where do I even start? I guess I should probably say something about like, his origin story or like his backstory or anything like that. Or I don't know, just his place in the story. But like the thing is, Suwa doesn't really have like a story in terms of like, oh, this will happen and then this and then that. He's more of an OC for like this sounds terrible. He's more of an OC for aesthetic purposes. Like, he's there to look pretty and be fun to draw. And the reason for that is because, like, well, and this contributes to his name, actually. So, we're gonna have a fun little lore drop about his name. But basically, I was really, really, really hyper fixated on a VTuber for a really long time, like 3 years, and I drew him, like, I don't know, 300 something times. And then one day it just kind of hit me, what happens when this VTuber graduates? And then I got really scared because I was like, oh god, I'm gonna be so depressed. That's not good. So yeah, I was like, maybe I should do something about this. And I made an OC that's like my Oshi with like all of the serial numbers filed off, and is just like kind of generally same theming, where he's like, a twink with like casual clothing. That's basically it. That's basically what I decided to do. Anyway, I'm sorry, this is so unserious. But yeah, I designed him, and then while I was designing him, my boyfriend came over and looked at the screen, and he was like, oh, what are you gonna name him? And I was like, oh, I don't know. What do you think I should name him? And he was like, Swaganold. I was like, I'm not naming my OC Swaganold. And so I finished the design, and then I like messaged my friend, and I was like, I don't know what I should name him. My boyfriend says I should name him Swaganold, and my friend was like, yeah, you should do it. Just like Swaganold, like fucking Japanese like pronunciation of Swaganold. I was like, what the fuck? But then my friend made a really good point, and it was like, well, it would be really funny that he's like the like refreshing like like type senpai, and then they don't know his name is Swaganold, and like anyway, so yeah, I ended up naming him Swaganold. So Suwa is short for Suwagi Naruto, and it's written in a specific kanji, with like where the on reading can pronounce it that way, but like his name also has hidden meaning in the kanji that I picked to spell it out. And then I decided, wait, okay, that should be part of his lore, that he was born with like the world's stupidest fucking name. So like I decided that part of his backstory was like his mom is like a socialite who kind of treated him like an accessory, was definitely not at all prepared to have like a child and take care of and raise a child, and she like had him and was like, this is like a status symbol for me. This is like, I just don't actually care about this child as a real human person, and he's got to be just like my perfect little pet that I can dress up and post pictures on Instagram of and stuff like that. And she's like into Kira names. But also she's like kind of not the brightest bulb in the box. And so she's like, wait, swagger, that would be like an awesome basis for my son, my baby infant boy's name. And so she named him Swaganold, thinking it was really cool and awesome. And she really thought like very deeply about it, even though everybody told her, hey, maybe you shouldn't name your child Swaganold, maybe that's gonna give this thing issues. And she's like, no, and she named it Swaganold, and then he's named Swaganold. And he was bullied relentlessly for being named Swaganold in school, and also having freckles and glasses. And so, so he just goes by Suwa. But yeah, so he has a stupid-ass name, and there's a reason for it, and it also contributes to his lore stuff. So this is gonna sound scripted on account of it is, because I'm reading off of his profile that I wrote for him. But he used to use Suwa as a nickname when he was growing up, because it was preferable to using his full name. When he legally changed his name to just be Suwa, he purposefully chose a different kanji spelling. The spelling he chose is typically used for family names, and this causes some confusion for others as to whether or not it's his first name or his last name. But he plays into it because it gives him a sense of like cool mystery, and more importantly, mostly it just makes it harder for people to find out his old name, which used to be spelled using the more typical kanji when used as a man's first name. But that's because the spelling of his full name spells out Swaganold. And the meaning behind the characters are basically to calm, person, art, skill, craft, beautiful, often, endeavor / make effort. And so essentially he's meant to be a calming person whose beauty will inspire others to endeavor to create art often, which, is supposed to be like kind of vain on behalf of like his mom's part. But also, it's like a little in-joke because he's supposed to inspire me to draw him often. Because his character design contains points that I really enjoy drawing. And so I wanted to force myself to invest more into drawing him, along with my VTuber, Oshi, because I want to not be completely creatively devastated, in the long run, and lose everything. Anyway... Sorry. Anyway, more of his lore, because I think it's probably easier to just read off of this. He has attachment issues due to his mother essentially treating him like an accessory. He struggles to form and maintain relationships with others due to a combination of these attachment issues, having been mocked relentlessly as a child for his name, and mocked less relentlessly for his freckles and glasses, and his personality flaws. Namely, he's extremely inconsistent and unstable, flipping moods and goals and disposition quite quickly, which makes him hard to read and get to know. He changed his name as soon as he was legally able, and he cut contact with his mother once he started attending college to start completely fresh. He dyed his hair, he switched to contacts, and he got into fashion, which he'd avoided at all costs growing up because of his mother, for the sake of appearing cooler and standing out. He's majoring in sociology at a liberal arts school, but he doesn't have any specific career goals, and he's mostly just there for the experience. He desperately desires connection, and he wants more than anything to be liked for who he is, but he himself is unsure of who he really is, and wants to find the answer by any means necessary. He tends to perpetuate the cycle of treating himself as an accessory to whoever he's talking to at the moment unconsciously, due to this desire, and he adjusts his interests and demeanor according to what he thinks people want most of him. He plays around a lot, but he's never had a real relationship. He's like kind of all bark and no bite in the realm of love. He's great at acting confident, but he gets flustered as soon as anyone calls him out on his bluffing and inexperience. His core immutable personality traits are that he's exceedingly adaptable and resilient, bubbly and silly but very easily gets depressed at the slightest hint of rejection, charismatic and sociable on a surface level, but incredibly secretive and closed off in regards to himself. He's indecisive and neurotic, quite responsible and self-sufficient but has little in the way of real-world experience, He's ultimately a genuinely compassionate and kind-hearted guy, but his people-pleasing and need to be liked can be so over the top that he seems phony, and this puts others off under the assumption that he's using them for something, which, you know, to be fair, he is, but that something is being understood. And all around, he's just very puppy boy. He can change all he wants, but he's naturally purse dog coded, like, to the core. This guy is pathetic. He's a pathetic wet dog. Anyway, I guess I'll go over some of his likes and dislikes too, just because I, you know, just want to share. It's like an intro to him, and, you know, anyway, he likes rings and accessories. He likes fashion. He convinced himself that keeping up with trends was his ticket to being perceived as cool, but then he became genuinely interested. He doesn't have the budget, though, to buy the latest styles now that he's estranged from his mom, so he just upcycles old and thrifted pieces often. He likes strawberry-flavored things, but, like, artificial strawberry, because he's fucking insane and weird. He likes sunflowers, because he wants to be like them. He likes instrumental prog rock, and he aspires to learn guitar, because he thinks guitar players are cool, but he's never picked up a guitar before. He likes bread, in general, just all bread. He'll fuck up a loaf or a flatbread of any kind. He likes oversized shirts, hoodies, sweaters, etc. He has trouble gaining muscle mass, and so he's really self-conscious about his lanky frame, and he likes that they make him look more bulky and, like, intimidating and hard to fuck with. He likes sneakers. He's not a sneakerhead, but he just appreciates good shoes. He likes dogs. You know, dogs gotta stick together, I guess. Ball pythons, because they have puppy faces. Mocha lattes. He likes and needs caffeine, but he also thinks unflavored coffee is too bitter, so he adds chocolate to it. And cool weather, just not to the point of ice or snow, just any sort of sweater weather is, like, good for him. But yeah. And then for some trivia, he collects buttons, not like pin badges or, like, you know, little flashy decorative buttons or anything like that. No, just like fastening buttons, like for shirts and coats and stuff. He goes to local thrift stores monthly, and he browses through, you know, clothes and rummages through bins of bits and bobs to hoard any neat looking buttons he finds. He really likes buttons. He's really good at Sudoku. He's just been good at Sudoku since he was a little kid. He just spent a lot of time doing it when he was alone and just got good at it. He's an extreme lightweight when it comes to alcohol. He'll get buzzed after a few sips of anything stronger than a beer. He's in school on a scholarship. He lives on a dorm, and he works part-time at a convenience store to pay for his food and other living expenses. He has pretty bad insomnia. He usually just pops melatonin and puts on some white noise, and he hopes for the best, but, you know. He takes really good care of his skin. He got in the habit of doing that after all of the acne he got from using cover-up as a teenager. You know, he'd cover up his freckles as best as he could, because he just hated them. He's pretty nearsighted. He can barely see a foot in front of him with any clarity. Like, he used to wear the glasses, you know, his glasses as a kid, but he switched to contacts once he left for college, and he's never looked back. The only time he wears glasses now is if he, you know, takes his contacts out for the night. But yeah. His guilty pleasures are shitty Hallmark tier romance movies and medical soap operas. Because he thinks sappy, faded romances are touching and comforting, and he loves getting invested in the human drama of it all with no real life stakes. But yeah, that's what I've gotten written down for, like, suwa facts, and, like, his lore and backstory and stuff like that. The thing about my characters is that, like, I've never really made OCs with the intent to, like, make a story with them, because, like, I'm not, like, a writing kind of person. I'm not a writer, okay? I'm really bad at writing, actually. I'm bad at coming up with, like, plots and stuff and, like, themes and all that. I mostly just use my characters as, like, I don't know, pieces to draw. They're, like, muses more than anything. That sounds fucking pretentious. But, you know, like, they're just, like, there to look nice. So I can put them in situations visually. but like they still exist as like, you know, people or whatever in my mind. It's more just like, rather than, oh, they're gonna go and do this thing and here's their canon life story and all that stuff, it's more just like, yeah, he's just chilling, just hanging out, you know. That being said, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to like eventually coming up with a story, but I think I just am too indecisive for all of that. And yeah, it's more just like for art reasons that I decided to make him, and I'm glad that I did, because I only made him in June, because his birthday I think is June 1st. How do I not know my own son's birthday? Anyway, I'm pretty sure his birthday is June 1st, and that's because that's the day that I made him this year. So yeah, he's doing the trick in terms of getting me to want to draw him and focus on him and stuff. I'm kind of like obsessed with him. So not only did I make, you know, like the standard like Toy House profile for him, I also made an entire website just for him, and I also maybe learned how to make VTuber models and rig VTuber models for him. I'm never gonna stream with him or anything. I don't know. Like in my brain, you know, that's not me. So like I'm not. You know, I don't want to use him to stream or anything like that. I'm also just not interested in streaming because I think I am really bad at talking and entertaining people, and I don't think I'd be very good at it. I'm already bad enough at making a video. Can you imagine like not curated content? No. Anyway, yeah, he's like kind of overtaking my thoughts. But I'm glad, because it's really nice to have like this creative drive that I got because of, you know, my VTuber Oshi, but applied to like something that's more personal and like that I own forever and ever, and that can't eventually graduate one day and break my heart. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to speak it into existence. I promise. Anyway, yeah, he's just there for me to put him in situations, basically, and also to, you know, focus on learning stuff with, because I found out that I really, really like learning how to do new things, right? I learned 2 new languages. I learned how to make videos. I learned how to translate things. I learned how to frame animate. I learned how to make a VTuber model from scratch. I learned how to make GIFs and do audio editing. Well, this is not a good example of that, but like I mixed song covers and stuff like that. I learned a lot, basically, is what I'm saying, with when it came to oshikatsu stuff. And because of that, I wanted something else to hyperfixate on so that I could have that for a long time and not have to worry about, you know, situations outside of my control in regards to the thing that I'm hyperfixating on. And so I made him, and I'm really happy that I did. I love him to bits, and I love drawing him, and I love just rotating him around, which is, you know, but a lot of his personality traits and like his backstory and stuff like that, or I guess more just his personality traits. His backstory is kind of unique. I don't think I know anyone named Spectral, but a lot of his personality traits and like his likes and interests and stuff like that are actually based on either traits about myself that I find really irritating, or traits from other people that I find endearing, or just, you know, just he's kind of an amalgamation of myself and the people that I care about, and I think that also adds to like me wanting to draw him more, and also it just helps me learn to appreciate certain aspects of myself maybe that I otherwise kind of despise. Which, you know, that might be a little bit why I have some of the aggression I have towards him. I treat him like a little chew toy, and I'm sorry for that. He's my beloved son, as much as it sounds like I hate him, but I think everybody treats their OCs like that, to be honest. But yeah, I like drawing sort of like just more casual poses and stuff like that. And I figured it would be fun to have a character who was into fashion, because then I can draw him in just a bunch of fun little outfits and stuff like that. I kind of realize now why so many like shoujo mangaka like do that with their characters, where they change every chapter. I always thought, oh, that's gotta be so difficult to like keep up with, but then I realized no, it's actually way more fun that way when you change your character's clothes up. So that's like one of the elements that I enjoy drawing about him. I also enjoy his stupid little ahoges. Like I don't know, I love doing ahoges that like always face in the same direction. I like Mickey Mouse ears, you know how like they rotate no matter how his head is turned. That's basically his ahoge. I'll just pretend they're like antenna or something. I don't know. But yeah, he also has like a body type that's really fun for me to draw, because he's like basically a stick bug. And I also really enjoy drawing very loose and baggy clothes and stuff like that. I love drawing clothing folds. I don't know if you can tell by the fact that I really struggle with the face and hair on all of these sketches, but like when it comes to the clothes, I just shit it out in like 3 seconds, no problem. I don't know, that never used to be the case, by the way. I used to suck at drawing clothes, and then something clicked in my brain and I just could do it, and it became like my favorite thing to focus on. I'm sure I'll move on to something else being my favorite soon, eventually. Hopefully it's faces finally, because I fucking suck at drawing faces. But yeah, I got really into doing these sketch pages because I tried it. I just wanted to draw, like, to get my ideas out really quick, because I get a lot of ideas for things, but then like I feel like my rendered work is not up to like snuff in terms of me liking it that much, and also it takes me a really long time, and so it just feels like kind of a waste to do fully rendered stuff when I'm just wanting to get out the pose and expression and like the clothing and stuff like that. So I was really inspired by looking at like Ginger Ninja Owo's you know, character stuff, and like seeing how, you know, they go about sketching their OCs and how loose and flowy and freeing it looks, and I'm like, I want to get on that. I feel like everybody who makes OC stuff looks at their work and it's like, yeah, I want to do that. So sorry for like just straight up, you know, yoinking their style, I guess. But anyway, I just watched so many people like, you know, making videos about their OCs and stuff like that, and it just seems so fun to like yap endlessly about OCs. I've done it once before. I yapped about my OCs, Damon and Lawrence, and I feel bad because I kind of as soon as Suwa popped out, all my other OCs just went straight into the dust collection bin. But, you know, it's just really fun to share OC related stuff, and I think it's fun to like talk about it and get inspired from other people's OC creation stuff. I don't know, it's awesome. It's really cool that people like can have so much dedication for their own characters, and it's inspiring and it makes me want to do it. And so that's why I'm making this. I'm sorry, I'm yapping. I'm really No, it's fine. I'm normal. I'm like completely normal. It's fine. I'm not panicking because I don't know what to say for the rest of this video. I could just shorten it. In fact, I might just speed it up, because like, what the fuck am I doing? Just speed up the video, forehead. But yeah, so this has been my sketch page of my beloved son, Suwa. You've learned a little about him in a very disjointed and frantic way. I apologize, that's just how my brain works. I'm disjointed and frantic. He's disjointed and frantic. It works out that way. Yeah. Anyway, thanks for, you know, I don't expect anybody to listen to this or watch this or anything, because I think it's very unprofessional. It's been a very unprofessional experience, and I'm sorry for that, but I don't think I really care about being professional. I'm not trying to present this in a way where, like, you know, it's anything other than how I would go about it normally, because, you know, you gotta be who you are, or whatever. And I don't need production value. I just want to yap into the void about my OC and pray that somebody sticks around long enough to listen. And that's you. If you're here right now, if you're here listening, you're awesome, and I owe you my life and all of my money and fortune and house and riches and everything. Thank you for caring enough about some random person's OC, and it means the world. And I hope that you also feel inspired to do shit with your own OCs. Anyway, yippee! Oh yeah, also, I recorded like a time lapse of, you know, the in Clip Studio Paint time lapse thing, which you're watching now, because I think it's fun to look at it without all the rotating and flipping and stuff, which, you know, to be fair, I've gotten a lot better about like the rotating and flipping. I feel like I've finally leveled up to a point in my art where I am not constantly needing to flip my canvas all the time just to double check the proportions, which is great. That's awesome. Keep drawing, because maybe someday you can draw without making everything lopsided all the time constantly. But probably should still flip your canvas. That's your periodic reminder to flip your canvas, because shit'll be lopsided if you don't. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and thanks for putting up with my awkwardness, and sorry for being awkward, and I'm gonna go now. Okay, all right, bye!